know, I was just talking about how you can switch putters a lot and you can kind of get lost in that search, you know, search for the best club. And, you know, I watch these PGA Tour players switch every year, try different clubs, go through a whole gamut of new technology, and I always watch them go back to the clubs that got them there. And that's a tough thing for a player, you know, pressure from a company to play the newest stuff, yet it doesn't work for their game. So, you know, I watch guys get the new driver, try it out, hit it terrible, the new ball, hit it terrible, but they struggle to, you know, they really struggle to keep that integrity. Because I mean, what got you there is what's going to keep you on the PGA Tour. It's going to keep you making money. If you're changing your clubs all the time, I mean, you could be off the money list really, really quick. And you got to remember that how you play and how you perform is actually your bread and butter, far beyond your deals with club companies. So I encourage anybody who's actually, you know, one of those guys who searches, you know, is addicted to the search of getting better versus actually just getting better. Keep your clubs, you know, work on yourself, get some good golf instruction, you know, strengthen the Indian and not the arrow. Because at the end of the day, these drivers, the technology is so good, they're all the same. The tee box is off to the right, but it's actually a pretty straight hole, par 4. From the other tee boxes, it's pretty straight away, but this one, the back tee box is a little off kilter. Kind of have to just go over some trees just to find that fairway. It's pretty much just a dead straight shot, just a little deceiving to the eye. Down the right side, cutting a little bit, should be on the right edge of the fairway, maybe barely in the rough. And just in touching upon that point, I encourage every golfer that dreams of really being great at what they do, and maybe even the professional level, that you really put a lot of time and energy into yourself. I think equipment is super important, but it's important after you've honed your abilities and your skill sets. The truth is that the best players in the world, they can hit anything. I mean, I watch guys like Bubba flip clubs upside down and crack it 275 yards. You know, your skill set that's the thing that's gonna get you places. The club, that's just to incrementally get you better. And at the highest level, that's needed. But for the amateurs, not so much. So my advice is not to buy into the propaganda, because even the PGA Tour players do. They feel that pressure. But to actually really focus on your game, your positions, your body, the treatment of your body, what you ingest, what you intake in as far as water and nutrients, and then what kind of physical regimen you have. Golf is no longer a game that's sedentary. It's actually a game where you have to apply a lot of different factors to become great. It's 5 games encompassed into one, and I think that's why I love it so much. The difficulty of it, it's just, you can't imagine a more complicated game. You know, you can play for years and you can still be terrible. And I think a lot of amateurs have that frustration. I want golf instruction to be more easily accessible, to have the options that I didn't have when I was a kid. Now the internet's changed everything. You can have decentralized platforms now like YouTube that allow for mainstream instruction to be divvied out and distributed all over the world. Kids in Iran and kids in, you know, down in South America, they can learn the game via the internet. I love that idea. It's no longer a game for the country clubbers. It's a game for everyone. And I'm really passionate about that. And that's one of the reasons I started this YouTube channel. I really want to provide all those stories, all that information that I acquired over 10 years. And I want to give that to you guys. And I want to give it to you for free because I think it's valuable. And what good does it do me to hold on to it? That's worthless. All right. Almost made the fairway. Didn't hit a fairway yet. Well, you know, gotta learn from your mistakes. And I haven't yet. So, not a bad drive though. It's a little high, went a little bit right. 140 is what I'm left with. I'm gonna go with a 9-iron. It's out here in the desert. Should be nice smooth one. Right over top of those geese out there. All right, might be good right at the pin. If it lands softly, ooh, 10 feet to the right. That's not a bad one. Got a club right this time. Feels good, right over top of those geese. Clubs, they're important, but they're not that important. Actually, speaking of clubs and how sometimes even just having this many clubs can be confusing, I was playing around at Pelican Hill with Bubba. Used a 3-wood around the entire course. It was one of these like 3-wood / hybrid clubs. He played the entire time. Even par. You know, and I'm telling you, he even hit sand shots with it. I mean, I love that kind of practicing because it requires creativity. You can't get away from anything. You literally have got to use your imagination to hit a hybrid out of a sand bunker. You know, you really do. And at a young age, if you're learning the game, that actually would be a great way to learn it. We hear about stories like Angel Cabrera or the other guys that actually just had, you know, a 3-iron and that's all they had, and they just hit that and they mastered that. And then they translate what they learned as a golfer into these other clubs. So I think there's an aspect of not really worrying about 14 clubs and what they can do for you, but actually trying different types of shots, using the creativity and the imagination. It's not just a stock pitching wedge at 135 yards. You know, try an 8-iron at 135. You know, hit it low, try to get it under a tree. I mean, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to actually get a lot of creativity back into the game because I feel the game has gone too scientific. I have nothing against TrackMan, and nothing about Sam's Putting Lab, none of that stuff, but I think that we lose an artistry. And I got to see that with Ryan Moore, and I got to see that with Bob Watson. And I got to see guys that really still embody artistry. And that's why this game is so beautiful. All right. Pretty decent shot, actually. You know, for a lot of those golfers that are obsessed about being good at the game of golf too, I want to press a point, you know, what I call like the Ricky Fowler syndrome. Although not now, because he's a phenomenal golfer and always has been, but you know, you can make a living on marketing and branding yourself. Not necessarily being great at the game of golf. You can be mediocre and you can be great. I mean, you can make a great living off of being a mediocre player, especially if you brand yourself well. And I'll never forget, I was actually caddying in an event. It was a web, at that time, a nationwide tour event in Wichita, Kansas. And I'm paired with a kid I've never seen before. I've never heard of him. Of course, I didn't really follow golf that much. And a kid marks his ball, and he goes into this position, and we're all gonna know it, as it goes like this. And I'm thinking to myself, what is that guy doing? There's nobody around, not a single person, and here's a kid reading a green like this. And I thought that was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Years later, about 2 years to be exact, he's on the PGA Tour, and he's doing it on a bigger stage. And he's making millions, as he's kind of nicknamed the Spider-Man. And I thought to myself, even when no one was watching, he was preparing and getting great at that move. It was a marketing move, and it made him famous. So does golf, of course, but just that move alone made him famous. Oh, curl in there. Ooh. Well, I may be able to get into the position of Camilo Villegas, but I definitely can't putt like him. I look forward to kind of telling you more about my stories. Make sure you subscribe, and I'm going to be giving away that FishFit glove. Where is it? In here somewhere? Here it is. I'm going to give that away at the end of the week. A caddy, that's kind of like hiring your best friend. I mean, this guy spends every second with you. He hears everything you say. And that's kind of an intimidating thing when you first start to actually work with a guy. So, you know, Jeff